Season's greetings. Welcome back to Low Ballers. I'm Tim.
I'm Steven.
And we are here to talk about an exciting, interesting week of football, both on the college and professional side. I have my Christmas sweater on, the nizzle before Christmizzle. I told y'all don't understand, I am the hip-hop representative for Norman, Oklahoma. So if you have any questions about hip-hop, you ask me, I'll straighten you out.
It's kind of a big deal.
So this week, a lot of the games, not that great. And then Saturday night, all of a sudden, we got Florida, who's about to try to go in the playoffs. And lo and behold, they're at home and on the ropes against LSU. And then they get a first down. And for who knows what reason, they prevented the first down. And for who knows what reason, the Florida player takes the LSU player's shoe and throws it 20 yards. And you could tell when the referee calls this penalty, he's like, you can see in his face, he's like, I don't want to call this penalty, but you threw this shoe 20 yards. What am I going to do? And that obviously had a huge impact on Florida's season as they go on to lose that game on senior night. So I can't imagine what it was like for that player to face those seniors after that game.
Oh, yeah. That has to be like, I just banged your sister kind of moment. Like, my bad, guys. I didn't know it was going to go that bad. Yeah, man, I can't believe they lost. And it didn't really matter. They only dropped one spot. But
yeah, so Cincinnati did not play a football game this weekend. Florida played one and lost at home to an unranked team. They each dropped one spot. Tell me how that makes sense. Somebody please make it make sense.
What was the spread? Like 22 points?
It was ridiculous high. And LSU's done nothing on nothing this year. I mean,
LSU won that game with a freshman quarterback playing his first game.
Wow. And Florida drops one spot. Begging the question now, if they can miracle the win against Alabama, do they still make the playoffs? And I think they probably do.
They have to. I mean, you got to have SEC representation in there.
Right. And because the only alternative would be to put Alabama in and leave Florida out, which would be a weird thing to do, considering Florida just got done beating them in a championship game. So in addition to national title implications, that game has other huge implications, which Kyle Trask and his Heisman hopes could be in serious jeopardy now. So we got that going. And so I think right now we're probably down to about 4 candidates, right? We have Mac Jones. We have
the BYU QB.
Smith, the Alabama receiver. We have and Kyle Trask, and maybe a dark horse of Ian Book from Notre Dame. A lot would have to happen, I think, for him to win it. But
I actually got Dylan Gabriel as my dark horse.
That's the UCF guy?
Yeah, it is.
He's such a dark horse, I had to ask. I was like, let me make sure. So, I mean, at this point, I think if Alabama wins, I think Mac Jones is going to win it. I mean, I like Devontae Smith better.
I think whoever wins this SEC championship wins the Heisman. I'm just giving it to the quarterback that wins it.
Okay.
I mean, Trask has the stats. I mean, the guy's thrown for more yards and more touchdowns and one more pick. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. He doesn't have the Alabama talent around him, but he has a lot of talent.
He does have Kyle Pitts, and that's about as much talent as you can put in one body. I do hope that by now Heisman voters have learned you need to hold your vote until after conference championship games. Those games are huge games. They have a huge impact. And for me, deciding who's a Heisman winner, one of the first things I'm going to look at, I don't care if you put up 6 touchdowns against Vanderbilt. It makes no difference to me. What I want to know is, what did you do when your team's season was on the line? In the big games, when your team needed you, what did you do then? And so that's why, for me, what you're talking about makes a lot of sense. What's going to happen this weekend? If Kyle Trask goes out there and puts 4 touchdowns on Alabama in a win, then, yeah, he's got to be right back in the mix thing. So as of right now, I have Mac Jones as my winner. I think Devontae Smith is better, so my vote would go to him, but I think Mac Jones is the winner right now.
You can't give Heismans to non-quarterbacks. out of the last, since 2000, there's only been 2 non-quarterbacks to win the Heisman.
Fair.
And they're both running backs from Alabama.
And not a whole lot of them have even been invited to the ceremony. Jalen Hurts, a running back, was invited to the ceremony last year.
Didn't win it.
So in the NFL, we had a very boring week on Sunday.
Super boring.
I watched football all day on Sunday and was entertained by almost none of it. So
Bears game. I was entertained by that.
You go into Monday thinking, wow, what a boring week this has been and is going to be. And then all of a sudden on Monday night, you have what I would call the game of the year. I mean, 2 teams going at it. And it was my lock of the week. I picked the Ravens to win. The game did not play out like either team should have been a lock. But the Ravens ended up winning the game for, I think, a lot of the reasons I pointed out. They were desperate for a win. They were kicking and scratching, being pulled off the toilet to do whatever you can do. We got to win this game. So there's some controversy there. Did Lamar Jackson have cramps, or did he have cramps?
he was only 10 pounds lighter in that second half.
That made all the difference. You lose 10 pounds and then you come back out.
It took an ACL, but it was worth it.
So the Ravens' playoff lives are still very much alive and well, and the Browns still are alive and well in the playoff race, obviously, but they could have almost locked it up if they won that game.
It's crazy to think that you're going to have 3 teams out of that division.
It's crazy to me, as a Browns fan, that we're still talking about the Browns as a relevant football team this late in the season. There's only 3 games to go, and the Browns are very much a part of the picture, and that has not... Usually by this time you're starting to look at, all right, are we going to be picking Trevor Lawrence or maybe Justin Fields?
You guys ain't going to get the draft, right? You guys would take no name from somewhere. Although I will give you Myles Garrett. That was a hell of a draft pick. Baker Mayfield's looking good. He has a cannon on him. I had no idea he threw the longest pass ever in NFL history.
So
for an incompletion.
There are, I think, players out there that transcend coaching. I mean, there's a Patrick Mahomes I think would have been fine wherever he went.
All right.
But most players, we've had people that we've called busts in the past, the David Carrs of the world.
Joey Harringtons.
A lot of people that went very high in the draft and their careers didn't work out. And I've always said, your success as an NFL quarterback has as much to do with what situation you fall into as, how talented you are. And again, few quarterbacks have overcome that. Matthew Stafford's never had a lot of playoff success, but he's been a very successful quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
with Phillip Rivers.
And I think a lot of that is those 2 guys, their talent transcended their coaching a little bit. I think that they've had some okay coaches, but they've not been a part of Hall of Fame coaching situations, but they're good enough to overcome that, and every now and again you get a quarterback like that. But, the Baker Mayfields, the Eli Mannings, people forget Ben Roethlisberger was not asked to win a lot of games on his own when he came in. He was asked to not lose.
Willie Parker.
They had an amazing defense. All you had to do was put up 17 points and not have any turnovers, and you're going to win the game.
Yeah.
So, but he stayed a quarterback 1 for so long that now he's an absolute legend in the game. So, anything's possible if you're in the right situation. And I think Baker Mayfield finally finds himself in the right situation, and now he's got to do something with that. And so far, he's done pretty well this year, and he continues to get better. But there's a lot left to do, I think.
So if you think that quarterbacks transcend coaching, so where do you put Belichick, Brady, and Cam Newton on that?
Cam Newton is a quarterback that's taken a lot of hits in his career. And his game lends itself to you have to be out there running. And I'm not saying he's a pure running quarterback. He was a good thrower as well. But I think the threat of him running, his physical running, he's a guy you could get 3 yards and hit him, and he's going to be a 5-yard gain.
Yeah.
I think that he's taken a beating over the years, and that's worn him down a little bit. As far as the Brady Belichick, I think they needed each other. I don't think it's one or the other. I think Brady made Belichick look good at times. I think Belichick made Brady look good at times. And I think the other coach made them both look good at times. I mean, you look at Pete Carroll, who has 1st and goal at the 2 and throws the ball. Who does that?
Especially when you got Beast Mode in the background.
And then you have the Falcons up 28-3. They blow a little bit of that lead, and they have another chance late in the game, and they call a pass play and take a huge loss, taking them out of field goal range. There's just a lot that, yes, I'm not taking anything away from Patriots. They've done everything you could ask a great team to do. But there's been a couple times where it's just, hey, let's not do anything stupid, and let's let them do something stupid, and we're going to win this game. So,
it goes both ways. You got the David Tyree catch that cost the Patriots the undefeated season.
That was, I can't imagine what that's like. I don't lose sleep for Patriot fans on that play because it's not like you didn't get some other titles. So,
but Randy Moss, I still feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, Randy Moss, I still say to this day, is probably my top receiver of all time.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
I've never seen a guy just go out there and do the things he did on the football field. So, Randy Moss, we usually don't just toast randomly, but here you go, Randy Moss.
Randy.
So, transitioning back to the Browns game, in addition to being just a great football game, if you were like me, I didn't have a lot of money on the game. I had Browns +3, but I had like $20 on it. It was like, that was one of those games I didn't have a great read on. So at the last minute, I just put some money on the Browns money line to see if I could win something. I didn't. But if you had Browns +3, you might have gone to bed thinking, it's a push. And then waking up on Tuesday morning, you find out, it's not a push. So,
yeah. I've heard some people maybe even bought a point on that. They had them +4, thought it was a win.
Oh, no.
And then got a call from a friend telling them that it wasn't a win.
I can't imagine who that might have happened to.
I don't know either, but my kid's not going to college.
Sorry, Peyton. You might have that part out.
You're cool.
So, bad beat of the year on the game of the year. But that's going to take us right to Vegas. So let's before we go to Vegas, we got to talk about our last week's trip to Vegas. We had 5 picks each, and mine got down to 4 because OU in the under, which was the lock of the year, didn't play. I had 2 other unders. I told you both in the Big Ten, Northwestern Iowa. Boring as it may be, I took the under. Both easy wins. And then my shock of the week was the Raiders over the Colts. And they had a lead at one time, 14-10, I believe it was. And then they had the Colts on 4th down. The Colts not only convert, but get a touchdown, so now they're winning. Then on the next drive, the Raiders just give them some, and then the snowball goes. And that game was
like 44-22.
That game was shocking. None at all. The Colts go away with a 20-point win. So my cover got kicked in the groin. So then my lock of the week was the Ravens. I told everybody I thought the Browns had a chance. I thought the Browns were a great team. But the Ravens were a desperate team. They had to have that win. No questions asked. They were getting healthy. And boy, what a game that was.
Yeah, amazing. Lamar Jackson looked like an MVP.
Well, at one point, it looked like the lock of the week. They were up by 2 touchdowns. It was like, hey, I'm about to walk away with this thing. The Browns come back and tie it. Then they take the lead. I mean, Baker Mayfield in that offense scored 22, I think it was.
Yeah.
4th quarter points. I mean, they did everything you could be asked to do, but the Ravens offense just did a little more. So, and there's a lot of talk about how bad the Browns defense was, but I mean, you got a playmaker out there making plays. As a Browns fan, I would have liked to see our defense make more plays, but I'm not mad at them. Myles Garrett, I think, was off the field for some of that. And again, you got Lamar Jackson out there doing Lamar Jackson things.
A lot of teams look bad. That's what he does.
You're not the first team he's done that to.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to the Ravens. I wish I wasn't saying that. I wish I was saying that I had my lock of the week loss and the Browns are now 10-3, but that's not the way it worked out. 9-4 still looks good. So that took me to 3-1, and that takes us to your picks. And your lock of the week was?
My lock of the week was the Dolphins +7, and it covered. Luckily, just barely. It shouldn't have covered, but I'll take it.
It started off like an easy cover. Dolphins were up 10-0, and they're 7-point underdogs, so you're 17 points up on the spread. Then here comes the Chiefs doing Chiefs things.
Tyreek Hill with that end around. Man, that run was amazing. That guy's so quick.
And then here come the Dolphins to get that backdoor cover, so it works out.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Which, if you're keeping score, takes the low ballers to 2-0 on the week on our locks of the week. So.
And then I had Atlanta, and that wasn't a cover at all. It wasn't even close. It was I have too much faith in bad teams. That's my problem.
You've lost some money with Atlanta this year.
I have. They got so much talent. How do you have Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, an okay defense? Todd Gurley, he has so much talent on that team, and I got too much faith in Matty Ice.
So we present this channel as I like whiskey and we like sports. Really, it's the gambling that drives us to the whiskey. Matty Ice, you're making us drink.
I took Wyoming +12.5. That was a cover.
That was an easy win.
Yeah.
I mean, there was not enough points in that game scored in that game to be a cover for a +11 team.
And then I had my shocker of the week. That was a money line bet. There was no doubt in my mind that Duke +5 was going to cover. But I just didn't even need those 5 points. Didn't even need them. It wasn't even going to be close. And it wasn't close. Not at all. Duke just got smashed. They got ran out the house. So that was a loss. And then I had Georgia -13, and that covered.
That was an easy cover.
That was.
Georgia. So you went 3-2.
Yeah.
Which is a winning week, but not winning enough. So this week, where did I put it? Oh, I got it hidden in my super secret location. Cash money necklace back to its rightful home. So 3-1 this week, and you're 3-2. So if you've tailed our picks, you're 6-3. That's a lot of money you could have made.
Just start cashing those checks. You guys are welcome. I'm gonna put your
bet our picks, people.
I need to start betting our picks.
So, okay, so that concludes our week. So we will. Who's your toast of the week? Just pick a player this week. Who are you gonna toast to?
That's actually easy. Mitch Trubisky. Guy played out of his mind and beat Deshaun Watson. Everyone talking all that trash about Mitch Trubisky being picked before Deshaun Watson. I'm just letting you know, dude looked great. Had 4 touchdowns. He was also the highest scoring QB in fantasy this week.
Well, as if the stakes in the game weren't high enough, my toast of the week was riding on the Browns Cleveland game. So as much as it pains me, I got to give it up. I got to give it up to myself. No, I'm going to give it up to Lamar Jackson. Great game. I'm going to toast you for it. No hard feelings. We're going to get you next time, though. So you don't want to see us in the playoffs. So, hey, cheers.
All right, so you got our picks last week, and we went 6-3. That's a pretty good week right there. So let's go ahead and give you our picks for this week. You want to start off?
Yes. So in case you didn't know, when you win twice as much as you lose, that's a good thing. So, for example, a $100 bettor would have made $270 because of the juice. We're not going to explain the juice to you. If you don't already know what it is, then don't bet. So this week, we need a lock of the week. Who's your lock of the week?
My lock of the week is I'm going to go ahead and take OU -5. I think they crush Iowa State. This is a revenge game right here. I don't even think it's close. I think they're going to run it out, and they're just going to lay the wood. Lay the wood. That's what they're going to do. They're going to lay the wood. The defense is going to come out and lay the wood this week.
The Big 12 Conference helped your pick out today, I think. They named Brock Purdy the first-team all-conference quarterback. They named Breece Hall the Offensive Player of the Year. But I think those are deserved. I'm not arguing those picks. But the other side of that, no OU defenders made the All-Big 12 first-team defense.
And this is the best defense we've had in a while.
And if you don't think that bothers them, you might want to check Lonnie Perkins' Twitter. They're pissed off, and they're ready to whoop some Ohio State ass. So that might have helped your pick out. So
I'm running with it.
Now we got your lock of the week. Let's get a shock of the week.
My shock of the week, I'm going to go ahead and take Notre Dame over Clemson, and I don't even want those points. It's plus 320. Now, it's probably not going to hit. Probably take the points, but I feel like Notre Dame played their ass off last time, and they I shouldn't say ass.
What? Yes, ass.
Okay.
Ass!
I feel like Notre Dame played their ass off last time and took them down to the end of the game, and Clemson's quarterback was great. It wasn't. I understand. I understand that. I can't remember his name now. Trevor Lawrence. All right, let me rephrase this.
Oh, you were. I thought you were talking about the backup.
No, I really can't think of this. All right, Trevor Lawrence. My shock of the week is Notre Dame, and I don't even need the 10 points. Like, just take them on the money line plus 310, because I feel like Notre Dame played them amazing last time, and it had a lot to do with their quarterback, who's a Heisman hopeful, and Clemson's quarterback did just as good as Trevor Lawrence could have done. I mean, the guy played amazing. It wasn't his fault they lost. Notre Dame just outplayed him. And I like Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly's a great coach, and I can't understand why there's so many points given up. Now, you could take the points, but I'm saying don't be surprised that money line hits.
I'm not going to take Clemson or Notre Dame, but I have a little bit different opinion of you on this because I think that Notre Dame is ranked number 2, but I think as a country, when it comes to Notre Dame, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and run amok. Clemson big in that game. I hate your pick, unfortunately. But it is your pick, so then what are they, plus 10 in that game?
Yeah.
Plus 10? And for those of you who didn't catch this earlier, I will explain this. He said the plus 310. Most of you know what that means. What that means, though, is if he bets $100 on Notre Dame on the money line and they win, the payoff is $310. So
that's why it's a shock.
Yeah, it is definitely a great shock pick. So but you have 3 more picks, but before we go on to those, I'll give you my lock and my shock of the week. And my lock of the week, can you guess it?
No, what is it?
Can you guess it? No surprise. OU under. It has been my bread and butter this whole year, and I'm going to ride it to the end. So OU and Iowa State, the total on that game is at 58.5, and I think that is very, very high. And I think OU wins this game. I've got it somewhere around like 31-21, 31-24. So it's close to the total, but I don't think if I was going to say I'm wrong, I think if Iowa State wins, it's because they kept us very low scoring. And so that's why I think the total is going to be under. And as my shock of the week, I'm going to go with the Fighting Ron Swansons, the Washington football team. They are +6 this week at home against Seattle. So now Seattle has to come across the country on the East Coast and play Washington, and they got to win by more than 6. I think not. I think Washington's been playing great lately. Their pass rush has been ridiculous. So I think the Russell Wilson's propensity to turn the ball over has been elevated this year. So I do think Seattle wins, but I think it's by a late field goal or something like that. Maybe 3 or 4 points, but not 6. So there's my shock of the week. So now we got our locks and shocks out of the week. What are 3 more games you like?
My other 3 games, I'm actually going to go with the Brady and Belichick here. I'm going to go ahead and take New England against Miami, -2. Or actually, they're +2. I'm going to take New England +2 against Miami. And I feel like, what is Belichick's record? Like 8-0 against rookie QBs in the last?
Ridiculous.
He's going to kill Tua. And if he's going to make a call to anyone, so Nick Saban will be like, hey, what was Tua's problems? Because they're best friends. Then on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and go with Brady because I think Brady crushes Atlanta. I'm finally going against Atlanta. They've let me down too many times. And I feel like Brady's still renting space in Matty Ice's head. So I'm going to go ahead and take Brady -5.5. And on top of that, I'm just going to stick with that game because I know Tampa Bay has good defense, but they haven't been playing that great. And I think Brady lights up Atlanta's defense. Lights them up. So I'm going to go ahead and take the over 49.5 in that game.
I'm going to change my lock of the week to Atlanta because now that Steven finally flipped on him, I think Atlanta's going to win by 4 touchdowns. All right, so I am taking some serious chalk. So I'm going to give up some points on my other 3 picks. I'm going to take Alabama -17 against Florida. Guys, I know Florida's pretty good, but Alabama, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, has been far and away the best team in the country, in my opinion. I think they roll on Florida. I got that game at something like 47-20. It's going to be bad.
Right.
So I'm going to change my mind. I said I wasn't going to take Notre Dame or Clemson. I'm going to take Clemson minus the points, -10.5. I think they win by somewhere between 11 and 17 points. So I think there's going to be just enough to cover that spread. I don't need McCaffrey numbers. I just need a little bit. So tune in next week to find out that the cash money necklace has stayed right where it is. There's no reason for it to go anywhere. So hopefully at the very least, we're doubling up again.
As long as we're 1 above, that's a winning week for you guys.
That's all you need.
Hey, if you guys think you could pick better than us, put it down in the comments.
As a matter of fact, go ahead and put your picks down in the comments. Give me 5 picks, and if you do better than both of us, so whichever one of us does better, if you beat that person, I'll send you a cash money necklace. So see if you can do it. Until next week, this is Low Ballers.
Cheers.